Alright, if you want to see my extended and very long playoff thoughts for the entire thing, you can go to the article that I'm going to put in the description box over there, I guess. And, but this video is going to contain a more abridged look at the first round only. So let's start with the matchups. Let's start in the East. We got Cleveland, Chicago, 1 versus 8. 20 game difference between the two squads, and this is as close to as lopsided as it gets. I'm not sure if it's the most lopsided playoff series ever, but it is close. I mean, it's great for Rose and Luol Deng and Joakim Noah that they get playoff experience, but you know, Deng is very delicate in general. I don't trust him against LeBron. I think he could get, you know, disheartened very easily against a guy like LeBron. And on key possessions, if Chicago gets close in these games, they can throw Anthony Parker or LeBron at Derrick Rose on the defensive end and probably limit him pretty well. So I think it's going to be a sweep. I think Cleveland wins in 4. I just think this is the kind of team that isn't going to let up, and I just don't think Chicago has the guns to take care of it. 2 versus 7, Orlando versus Charlotte. You know, if Tyson Chandler didn't get hurt last night, I would have picked Orlando in 7. I'm going to pick Orlando in 6. I'm going 6 because I kind of like Charlotte. I think Orlando's going to lose one game because they mail it in, because Orlando, to me, strikes me as sort of a team that's willing to go to sleep and give up a playoff game. They strike me as a team that's willing to give up a win in order to rest up for the next game in the playoffs. And, you know, when you have Vince Carter on your team, that's going to happen. They don't make things easy, so I think it's going to be Orlando wins 2, Charlotte wins 2, and then Orlando wins the last 2. They're going to lose one game because Orlando mailed it in, and then the other game that Orlando loses will be because I think Steven Jackson can get in Vince Carter's head and Gerald Wallace can have a big game. Charlotte's the kind of team that I think is going to out-hustle Orlando a couple times this series. So there you go. It's going to be in Orlando in 6. Okay. 3 versus 6 is Atlanta, Milwaukee. You know, this is a shame because I would have thought about picking Milwaukee if it wasn't for the Andrew Bogut injury. I would have, but without it, I just don't see how it's going to happen. It's still a pretty good team, and they deserve a lot of credit for doing what they did after Bogut got hurt. But, and for the most part, it's a fairly good matchup for him. I mean, Al Horford's small. You can match up on him with a true center, which Bogut is, but they don't have Bogut anymore. Brandon Jennings has a good matchup against, you know, Mike Bibby, who's decaying out there. And normally I would like Milwaukee in this series, but without Andrew Bogut, they lose most of their advantage. So I'm going to say Atlanta in 6. And when you combine the Bogut loss with the fact that the Bucks may not have an answer for a guy like Joe Johnson, I just think it's going to be a little too much. And yeah, okay, 4 versus 5, Boston against Miami. I don't like this matchup at all. I don't like either of these teams that much, but I mean I like the Heat. I just don't like the way they played most of the year, but they got it together at the very end, and they've been playing their best basketball in the last couple weeks, so that's promising. So, you know, I'm looking at this, and I think, you know, Miami, I think they're going to pull the upset here. I have Miami in 6. I think the Boston team, this Boston team's heartless right now, and they just want to end this season, and I don't think they're going to fight too hard to hold home court. So I think Boston loses a home game, and I think Miami wins the series. So, you know, looking at it, Wade should have a big series, no problem. Pierce should have a big series, no problem, but Wade is younger. Pierce has more tear on his legs. He's going to get tired first. That's the key. The Miami Heat might be able to throw Wade defensively on Rondo, slow him down. And the front courts, to me, are kind of negligible. You know, KG, not what he used to be. I don't think he's much better than Michael Beasley right now. Jo is playing better. I'm not, and when you throw in Rashid being, Rashid, lazy bastard, I don't think they're any better at the center position or the power forward position than Miami. So I think it's going to come down to the fact that Wade is going to be able to maintain a level of play that Pierce may not be able to because, well, he's older. Moving on to the Western Conference, by the way, that's Miami in 6. LA versus OKC. I think this is going to be a sweep. I know I'm not totally convinced LA has the killer instinct to sweep a team. You need a killer instinct to sweep a team in a 7-game series, and I'm not totally convinced LA has that right now. But I look at this Oklahoma City squad. They're young. They've never done this before. Nobody expected them to be here. And they're here, but they have no experience dealing with this. So I think they're going to go into LA and get blown out in the first 2 games. They're going to make a bunch of mistakes to blow a winnable Game 3, and then they're going to get blown out in Game 4. It's a great team. I like watching them and everything, but sometimes you're just not ready yet, and this Oklahoma City team is not ready yet. So I pretty much expect them to get pushed over when all is said and done. Like I said, sweep. 2 versus 7, Dallas, San Antonio. If there was any doubt in my mind, and I'm not sure there was, George Hill getting hurt has done it for me. I am picking the Mavericks in 5. I know he might play, he might be okay, but even so, I'm going to take the Mavericks in 5. I don't know what's different from last year for the Spurs. They have Ginobili, that's good. Hill is a lot better than he was last year, that's good, but he's hurt. Duncan's worse, Parker's a lot worse. They lost a couple players, some players are a little worse. I don't think they're that much better than they were last year. Last year they won 50 games, this year they won 50 games. So, kind of, sort of, there you go. I mean, I realize having Ginobili over having no Ginobili is huge, but at the same time, Duncan got a little worse, Parker got a lot worse. It's kind of, it almost cancels out, and, the Mavs are so much better than they were last year. Adding all those players, only losing 2 role players. Nobody really got worse. Maybe Dirk got a tiny bit worse, but it's very insignificant. And right now, I only trust like 4 players on that San Antonio team to show up. And for Dallas, it's more like 8. And 4 of those San Antonio players are coming off injuries, Hill and Parker. So, I just don't see it. I know it's terrifying to sleep on San Antonio. I don't see it. 3 versus 6, Phoenix versus Portland. Portland showed a ton of heart getting this far. They won the season series, I think, and they got nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, they won the season series, but it's not going to work. I mean, the Suns, with the way they're playing right now, they've got 8 quality 3-point shooters, maybe only 7, but 8 if Barbosa can find his shot again because he used to have it. They can, put a lineup out there of Nash, Richardson, Dudley, Hill, and Fry and have 5 3-point shooters on the court at once. And that's not getting into Amare, who's been one of the best players in the league in the second half. And basically, you need to rely on so many things to go right for Portland just to make this a competitive series. I mean, you need Marcus Camby to shut down Amare, which, maybe he can once or twice, but not over a whole series. You need Juwan Howard to D up on Amare and LaMarcus Aldridge, which isn't going to work at all. You need Nicholas Batum to shut down Steve Nash. You need Andre Miller and Jared Bayless to abuse Nash on the other end. It's too much to ask. And now Brandon Roy's out. So now you absolutely need Rudy Fernandez and Martell Webster to blow up. Roy's apparently out for the whole playoffs. So too many things need to happen here. So I say Phoenix in 5. Portland has a lot of heart. They win 1 game because they do. Maybe Rudy blows up or Camby shuts down Amare, but Phoenix in 5. And lastly, Denver, Utah. If Boozer was healthy and Kirilenko was healthy, I'd take Utah, no questions asked, but they're not. I'm taking Denver in 7. I think it's going to be a very close and competitive series. I think it's going to come down to the last couple minutes of Game 7. I think all the teams will win their home games, but ultimately, if I know Boozer's going to play, but I don't know how effective he'll be, and they needed Kirilenko to throw on Carmelo, and they don't have that, so I have to take Denver. I just think they're the better team if AK-47 is out there. I mean, the major injury for Denver was Kmart, who they now have back. So now they can throw a lot of different things at Boozer, with Kmart and Nene and Birdman. They can throw Aaron Aflalo at D-Will, and that's been pretty successful for them so far. So, yeah, Denver in 7. That's the first round. Go check out the full article that I wrote over there, and I'm out.